You just finished lunch. Maybe you're still at the table. Maybe you already moved to the couch. And here's the thing, you know what you're doing. You're resting, checking your phone, going back to work. You're living that afternoon. But if someone asked you right now, in English, so what do you usually do after lunch? Could you answer without freezing? That's exactly what this video fixes. By the end of the next 18 minutes, you're going to be able to describe your entire afternoon in natural, fluent English. Not textbook English, real English. The kind native speakers actually use. The words natives use that no course ever teaches. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I already know basic verbs. I know eat, I know work, I know sleep. Fair enough. But knowing a verb in isolation is completely different from using it in a real sentence, in a real situation with the right preposition, the right tone, the right context. Here's your first win right now before we even get started. After lunch, instead of saying I rested, try saying I lay down for a bit. That's it. That one swap makes you sound 10 times more natural. Native speakers almost never say I rested. They say I lay down, I kicked back, I took a breather. Keep that in your pocket. There are 2 more swaps just like that one coming up later, and here's what I want you to stay for. Later in this video, I'm going to show you the phrasal verbs of the afternoon. The ones that textbooks skip. The ones that, the moment you start using them, people stop treating you like a student and start treating you like a speaker. This video is for you if you're at that intermediate level, you understand a lot. But when it's time to talk, especially about everyday stuff, you hesitate. You translate in your head. You play it safe with simple words. That ends today. Let's go. So why the afternoon? Why not mornings? Why not night routines? Here's the honest answer. Morning routines get all the attention in English courses. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I have breakfast. You've drilled those verbs 100 times. And night routines too, I watch TV, I go to bed. Classic. But the afternoon? Nobody talks about the afternoon. And that's a problem, because the afternoon is actually the most verb-dense part of your day. Think about it. After lunch, you might rest, go back to work, check messages, grab a coffee, step outside, sit in a meeting, scroll through your phone, run a quick errand. That means do a small task outside the house, chat with a coworker, or just zone out for 20 minutes. That is a lot of action. And most learners don't have the vocabulary to describe any of it naturally. Here's why this matters beyond just sounding fluent. If you ever work with international teams, travel, have friends abroad, or even just watch English content, small talk about daily life comes up constantly. And the afternoon is everyone's common ground. Lunch just happened. The day isn't over. People ask, so how's your afternoon going? And you want an answer that doesn't sound like a homework exercise. Later, I'll show you exactly how to answer that question, casually, confidently, like you've been doing it your whole life. The goal here isn't perfection. It's fluency. It's having the words ready when the moment comes. All right, let's build that foundation. By the end of this block, you'll have 8 verbs locked in, the exact ones you need for the first hour after lunch. Let's start at the moment lunch ends. You push back from the table. What happens next? First verb, to clear. As in, I cleared the table. To clear something means to remove everything from a surface. Can you clear the dishes? I cleared my desk before the meeting. Simple. But most learners say I put away the table, which sounds off. The right verb is clear. Now, here's the pattern we're going to use for every verb in this video. Attempt, arrow, the mistake most learners make. Validation, the version that actually works. Attempt, I clean the table. Error, to clean means to wash or scrub. You clean a dirty surface. But when you're talking about removing object, dishes, cups, stuff, you clear it. Validation, I cleared the table after lunch. That's your sentence. Own it. Second verb, to wash up. This is a phrasal verb. 2 words that, together, mean something specific. To wash up means to wash your hands and face, usually after eating. Give me a sec, I'm just going to wash up. In British English, it also means to do the dishes. But in American English, It's almost always about washing your hands. Context usually makes it clear. Attempt, I washed my hands. Era, technically correct, but sounds very literal, very formal. Like you're telling a doctor what you did. Validation, I washed up after lunch. Casual, natural, done. Third verb, to lie down. Not lay down as a habit, we'll get to tenses in a second, but to lie down, which means to put your body in a horizontal position to rest. I need to lie down for a bit. Here's where learners get tripped up. The past tense of lie down is lay down. So, yesterday I lay down for 20 minutes after lunch. It feels weird. It sounds wrong. But it's right. Attempt. Yesterday I lied down. Era. Lead means you told a lie. He lied to me. Completely different verb. Validation. I lay down for a bit after lunch. Say it out loud. Get comfortable with it. Fourth verb, to scroll. You already do this constantly. To scroll means to move through content on a screen with your finger or mouse. I scrolled through Instagram. I was just scrolling. It's one of the most common afternoon verbs. In modern English, and most textbooks don't even include it. Fifth verb, to check in on. This is a phrasal verb that means to see how someone is doing. I checked in on my mom. He checked in on the project status. Different from check in at a hotel. The on changes everything. Sixth verb, to grab. To grab something means to quickly get or take it. I grabbed a coffee, I grabbed my jacket and left. It implies speed and informality. You don't have a coffee in casual afternoon English, you grab one. Seventh verb, to stretch. Literally, to extend your body. I got up and stretched after sitting for a long lunch. This is extremely common. I stretched my legs also means you took a short walk. Eighth verb, to get back to. This is the big one for returning to work. I got back to my emails. She got back to work around 2, not I returned to work. That sounds like a news headline. Got back to is how real people say it. You now have 8 real usable verbs for the first hour after lunch. Not dictionary definitions, actual sentences, actual situations, actual English. That first hour of your afternoon, you can describe it now, completely. And you didn't need a grammar textbook to get there. This block covers the middle stretch from roughly 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and gives you the verbs for work, rest, and real human interaction. All right, the post-lunch fog is lifting. You're moving. You're doing things. This is the productive middle of the afternoon, or at least the attempted productive middle. Let's talk about work verbs first. To follow up. This is one of the most ups phrases in professional English. To follow up means to check on something that was started earlier, usually a conversation, a task, or an email. I followed up with the client. Can you follow up on that? Attempt. I called again to ask about the project. Error. Technically fine, but wordy and unnatural in professional contexts. Validation. I followed up on the project this afternoon. Clean, professional. Exactly right. To wrap up. To wrap up means to finish something, to bring it to a close. We wrapped up the meeting early. I'm just wrapping up this report. You'll hear this constantly. The work conversations and it signals you're nearly done. Not completely done, but winding down. To run through. This means to review or go over something quickly. Let me run through the main points. We ran through the agenda before the call. It's faster than review. It implies speed and efficiency. To put off. This is a phrasal verb meaning to delay or postpone something. I put off the report until tomorrow. This is also the verb of the afternoon, honestly, because the afternoon is when procrastination, delaying what you should do, really kicks in. Attempt. I delayed the report. Error. Correct, but formal. You'd say this in a written document, not in conversation. Validation. I kept putting it off. You know how it is. That's real. That's human. That's English. Now let's move to rest and recharge verbs. Because not every minute of the afternoon is productive. And English has beautiful, specific ways to describe that. To zone out. This means your mind goes blank. You stop focusing without meaning to. Sorry, I totally zoned out for a second. I was zoning out by 3 p.m. It's not sleeping. It's that mid-afternoon mental drift. To doze off. This is different. It means to fall asleep unintentionally, usually for a short time. I dozed off during the meeting. Embarrassing. Relatable. Very human. To step outside. A physical action. You go outside, usually for air or a short break. I stepped outside for 5 minutes. It implies intention and brevity. You're not going for a walk. You're just getting a breath of air. To recharge. Metaphorically, like charging a battery, it means to rest enough to feel energized again. I need 20 minutes to recharge. Very common in English conversations about self-care and productivity. And now social interaction verbs, because afternoons aren't just solo activities. To catch up with someone. This means to talk with someone you haven't spoken to in a while, updating each other on your lives. I caught up with an old friend over coffee. Note, catch up on something means to get current on work or news. Catch up with someone is social. To drop by, to visit someone briefly and usually without a formal invitation. My coworker dropped by my desk. I dropped by the coffee shop on the way back. Casual, warm, unplanned. So now, when someone asks, "How's your afternoon going?" you've got the full vocabulary. I wrapped up a meeting, caught up with a colleague, zoned out for a bit, then grabbed the coffee. That's fluent. That's real. That's you. You just built out the entire middle of your afternoon in English. Work verbs, rest verbs, social verbs. You have all 3 layers now. The afternoon isn't vague anymore. It has language. Your language. This is where your English stops sounding translated and starts sounding lived in. These are the words that signal fluency to a native speaker. Before you even finish your sentence, okay? This is the block I've been building up to. Everything we've done so far, that's solid. That's functional. But there's a layer on top of that. A layer most learners never reach. And it's not about grammar. It's not about vocabulary lists. It's about texture. Native speakers don't just describe what they do. They describe how it felt. They add color. They use verbs that carry attitude, energy, and emotion, not just action. Let's get into it. To power through. This means to continue doing something difficult without stopping, using sheer willpower. The afternoon was rough, but I powered through it. She powered through 3 hours of emails. This verb carries effort. It tells the listener it wasn't easy, but I did it anyway. Attempt. I continued working even though I was tired. Validation. I was exhausted, but I powered through. Same information. Completely different energy. To putter around. This is a beautiful, underused verb. To putter around means to spend time doing small, unimportant tasks in a relaxed, unfocused way. I just puttered around the house all afternoon. He was puttering around in the kitchen. It's not lazy. It's not busy. It's that pleasant, low-stakes afternoon mode. This verb is almost never in English courses, but it's extremely common in real conversation. To wind down. Different from wrap up, which is finishing a specific task. To wind down means your whole energy level is dropping. You're shifting into a slower gear. By 5 p.m., I'm usually winding down. We wound down the afternoon with some music. It applies to people and to events. To lose track of time. Technically a phrase, but it functions as a verb unit. It means you became so absorbed in something that you stopped noticing time passing. I was reading and completely lost track of time. Sorry I'm late, I lost track. Attempt. I forgot the time. Era. Forgot the time. Sounds like you just didn't check your watch. Lost track of time tells a story. You were engaged, absorbed, present. Validation. I lost track of time and suddenly it was 6 o'clock. That's a sentence with life in it. To squeeze in. To squeeze something in means to fit an activity into a busy or tight schedule. I squeezed in a workout before dinner. Can we squeeze in a quick call this afternoon? It implies effort. You made space for something that almost didn't fit. To knock out. In this context, not fighting. It means to complete a task efficiently and quickly. I knocked out 3 reports this afternoon. Let me knock this out before 5. It carries satisfaction. You didn't just finish, you crushed it. To drift. Softer than zone out. To drift means your attention moves away slowly. almost peacefully. My mind kept drifting during the meeting. I drifted off into a daydream. There's something almost poetic about this verb, to kick back, to relax completely without guilt. After work, I just kicked back and watched a show. This is the afternoon reward verb. You earn the rest. You're kicking back, and there it is. Those are the 2 extra swaps I promised you at the start. Power through instead of I kept working. Kick back instead of I rested. Natural, textured, real. Here's what just happened. You didn't just learn more vocabulary. You crossed a line. There's a version of English that sounds like you learned it in a classroom, and there's a version that sounds like you lived it. You just stepped into the second one. When you say I was puttering around and completely lost track of time, no one is thinking, oh, they're a learner. They're thinking, yeah, me too. That's the goal. And you're there. All right, now we practice. Because knowing the words and using the words are 2 completely different things. And this is where most learners stop. They watch, they nod, and they never actually speak. Not today. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to walk you through a full afternoon from just after lunch to about 6 o'clock. Your job, pause the video after each moment and say the sentence out loud, in English. Using the verbs from this video, don't write it. Say it. Ready? Let's go. Moment 1, it's 12:45 p.m. Lunch is over. You remove the dishes from the table. You go to the sink and rinse your hands. What do you say? Pause. Your sentence. I cleared the table and washed up. Simple. 2 verbs. Clean. Done. Moment 2, it's 1:15 p.m. You feel a little heavy after eating. You move to the couch or your bed. You lie down, not to sleep, just to rest for 15 minutes. Your sentence. I lay down for a bit after lunch. I wasn't planning to sleep, just rest. Notice the natural addition at the end. That little clarification. I wasn't planning to sleep. That's how native speakers talk. They anticipate the follow-up question. Moment 3, it's 2 p.m., back at your desk. You open your email. There's a message from a colleague you need to respond to about a project you discussed last week. Your sentence, I got back to my emails and followed up with my colleague about the project. 2 verbs, 1 sentence. Entire action described. Moment 4, it's 3 p.m. You realize you've been staring at the screen. Your mind wandered, you weren't focusing. 5 minutes passed and you produced nothing. Your sentence, I totally zoned out around 3, lost track of what I was doing. That's honest, that's real. And it's completely natural English. Moment 5, it's 3:30 p.m. You need coffee. You get up, leave your workspace, and quickly go get a coffee, then come back. Your sentence, I stepped outside for a second and grabbed a coffee. Moment 6, it's 4 p.m. The afternoon is hard, but you push forward. You have a report to finish. It's not exciting, but you do it. Your sentence. It was a slow afternoon, but I powered through and knocked out the report. Feel that? Powered through, knocked out. That sentence is energy. It tells a story of effort and victory in 8 words. Moment 7, it's 5:30 p.m. The workday is ending. You start relaxing. The pressure is off. You put on some music, move more slowly. Your sentence. By 5:30, I was already winding down, just puttering around, not really doing much. Your checklist, the 18 verbs from this video. First group, right after lunch, clear, wash up, lie down, scroll, check in on, grab, stretch, get back to. Second group, middle of the afternoon. Follow up, wrap up, run through, put off, zone out, doze off, step outside, recharge, catch up with, drop by. Third group, the native speaker layer. Power through, putter around, wind down, lose track of time, squeeze in, knock out, drift, kick back. Pick 5 that fit your afternoon. Use them today. Out loud, in a real sentence about something you actually did. We opened this video with a question. If someone asked you right now what you do after lunch, could you answer naturally, in real English, without freezing? You can now, completely. You didn't just learn a list of verbs today. You learned how to narrate your own life in English. That's different. That's bigger. You can describe the rest, the work, the drift, the coffee run, the push, the wind down, all of it, with words that don't sound translated, words that sound lived. Here's what I want you to hold on to. Fluency isn't about knowing rare words or complex grammar. It's about having the right words for the ordinary moments. And the afternoon is full of ordinary moments, full of life, full of language. From today forward, you're already someone who describes their day in real English. Not perfect English, real English. And those two things are not the same. Perfect is for tests. Real is for living. Now, one action before you close this video. Record a voice memo on your phone, 60 seconds. That's it! Describing your afternoon today using at least 5 verbs from this video. Don't script it. Just talk. That 60-second recording is worth more than 10 hours of passive watching. I'll see you in the next one.